AutoHDR just came out with a new version 4 for their real estate photography editing software. We're going to put it through its paces, and what I mean by that is I'm going to use a very tricky, dark listing, and I'm going to compare it between the old version and the new version 4 now. So let's take a look here. We're going to go into our Dropbox, and I've already got it loaded, I believe. Let's take a look. Yes. And let's do one version of the front hallway here. This is a really great angle too of the family room. And as you can even see from these thumbnails, they look so dark. Now we've already sent the client these photos, but I just want to check out version 4 and see how much better it might be. We'll do, let's say, this one of the primary bedroom. We call it primary bedroom up in Canada because we don't want to hurt people's feelings saying master bedroom. So we're just going to do interiors for now. Let's start with those. So we're going to choose those. They're going to take a second to load. And then we're going to name this version 4 test. And we're going to choose version 4 classic beta, the latest flagship model from AutoHDR, currently interior only. Now I did actually run some exteriors and they seem to work perfectly fine. But we're just going to do some interiors for this test right now. So we're going to do version 4 test. We're going to call these in brackets version 4 because I'm also going to name another project called version 4 test, and it'll be the older model, the Lisa extra pop and deep window pulls, which are pretty good. So we're going to do that. That's going to load. 24 files selected. See if I can remember which photos I even just chose. I think I can. And there we go. So let's edit more. And the great thing about AutoHDR is that you don't waste credits by simply just having them edited on the platform. It's when you download them, that's when the credit's actually being used. So it's really nice you can play around with it as much as you want. Oh, there's even settings like fireplace and TV screens. You can change it to blacked out, or you can put your own custom thumbnail like a movie screen. So we're going to do this one more time. I'm going to try to remember which angles I chose. There's 24 photos. There we go. There's 24. We're going to choose those. But in this time, instead of using the version 4 beta, I'm going to let that load. And those ones are being edited right now, which is awesome. So those are chosen. We're going to call this version 4 test. And in brackets, Lisa. Okay, because that's what it's called. It's called the Lisa. There's classic, natural, beautiful look for interiors. Lisa, extra pop and deep window pulls. Twilight for day to dusk edits. Use studio. They tell you for photos shot at dusk. Oh, cool. So for day to dusk, use studio. Excellent. So don't be confused by by that. I'm not the one that usually uses AutoHDR. So we're gonna choose Lisa. And we have that in brackets so that we can distinguish the differences between them. We're going to click continue. That's going to load 24 photos as well. Hopefully I chose the exact same photos. If not, you can see hopefully the difference between them. And there we go. So those are done, and we'll come right back once those are ready. So we just got back our version 4 test. We're doing version 4 on the left here and the Lisa model on the right from AutoHDR. So let's dive in and take a look. And I did choose all the exact same angles, so that was kind of lucky. So 8 photos, and you can see here on the left, instantly one of the first things that come to mind is that it looks like there was a flash involved in the photo. And this is a very tricky listing that I chose. Lots of wood, very dark. Like real life, this didn't look anything like this at all. Like literally twice as dark. So, superficially, some of the things that come to mind is it looks a little bit cooler. You can see kind of some like flash kind of blending in. I didn't use a flash at all. Keep in mind, there's 3 brackets, 2.0 EVs, 3 brackets. It's definitely a more professional look, and brighter is usually better if you had to choose in real estate, as long as it's not overexposed. But, I kind of do like the original nice wood look on here. And maybe it's because I chose a house that has wood, and maybe we should be using the Lisa model for that. But then there's some aspects that I do like clearly it's more saturated here and more neutral here. The window pull looks better on the Lisa versus the one here from version 4. But let's take a look at the second one, right? Like, which one do you guys like better? Like, you can see like this picture, the painting too, more saturated, more vibrant, but this just feels more, I guess, like lifelike and less. I don't love a flash look, but let's take a look at the next one, okay? So this is the angle of the hallway pointing towards the kitchen. All right, so you can see instantly some stark differences here. Again, more saturation, more warmth, flatter over here. Window pulls are definitely better on this one in version 4. Kind of more consistent, warm colors throughout, kind of like a neutral look. Whereas like you can see this is a different color than this. Whereas like this almost looks like the same color as that though, right? So yeah, more consistency in the Lisa model, but I do like how they're trying to utilize a more vibrant, almost like as if something's captured with flash. I think that that's actually pretty important in professional photography. You see people who are charging a lot more than I am using flash and manually blending in those flash exposures. To be fair, good for them, and that's amazing, and that's probably the best way to do it, I'm sure. But in our industry, at least where we are and the types of clients we service and the types of sellers that we have, there's really no time to be having holding a flash up and pointing it, like spending 5 times longer at a house. That's just not realistic. You know, we would have to charge X amount more, and that's just, no one's going to pay for that. So, but to have that flash look is kind of cool. And, you know, maybe using a home that's not a century home, that's very dark with lots of wood, maybe this isn't the best example to use, but you know, if I had to choose the first photo, who's going to win? I would say, let's just let that load for a sec, you know, of the front door here. Which one's going to win? I kind of feel like the older Lisa model wins, just because I like how the wood is maintained. But one could argue that the lighter look and the almost flash use on the version 4 does look pretty nice too, though. So it's kind of a toss-up in the air, but if I had to choose, it would be not version 4, the older Lisa model. But then if we go to the angle of the hallway and, you know, like which one would we choose? My eye instantly gravitates to the new version 4 model being better. If I had to be very nitpicky about it, yes, like the inconsistency of some of the colors may be a drawback, but then again, that might actually be what it looks like. And if it's more accurate, I would prefer accuracy over fake. So I don't know if this is actually post-processed desaturating or whatever it's doing exactly. If this is more true to life, I would rather version 4 because there is a real thing such as complaints from sellers, especially in dark homes such as this, who say like that's not the color of my wall, and I would rather not have that and have business be a little bit more smooth. So less complaints trump more complaints in my opinion. Let's move on to the next one. So the winner here, version 4. Let's go to the next photo here, and I believe it's going to be an angle of the kitchen and dining. So, and definitely stark difference again. You can see some of the darker tones are maintained. I like the window pulls in the version 4 much better. And if I had to choose, like even though I'm not a huge fan of overexposed photos, which this almost feels like in my opinion, gravitating towards, but then again, like brighter is usually just always better in real estate, without it being overexposed, of course. And again, like it looks so cool, like cool as in like white balance, temperature, cool out the windows. I'm not a fan of the Lisa model here. So I think the winner is version 4 again. And maybe that first photo was just an anomaly and not a fair comparison. They are working on tweaking it and making it better, of course, over time. But 2 for 2 in a row, photos 2 and 3, go to version 4 in my opinion. Like that, this looks like it was captured again with flash, and it looks way better. Less shadows. The psychology between shadows, seeing shadows in real estate, if it's not meant to be like artsy, it makes it feel smaller, and more cluttered. And when you, obviously, as real estate photographers, we want to not misrepresent, but we want to try and make spaces look as big as possible, within reason. And that's just because I shoot at 16 usually all the time, between 16 and 35. Seeing these shadows on the old Lisa model is definitely more worrisome, that we've been using this for almost a year, and now that version 4 looks so much better. If you were to look at this not side by side, I don't think that you would really tell. But so the version 4 looks really good here. I'm very happy with how that looks, especially those, like the warmth of those window pulls actually look really awesome, and just less shadows as well too. So this is a really, really good example of how I think version 4 looks a lot better. Let's go to the next photo. This is maybe a little bit closer and harder to distinguish, but you can see just by using my eye easily, a little bit brighter on some of the kitchen cabinets there, which is wood, by the way. It's so difficult to photograph, and a little bit darker here. Again, maybe just a touch too much exposure in my opinion, but you can literally re-edit that. Like you can dive in and do some, here's the basic adjustments on the right side here. So if I really wanted to bring that exposure down a little, like I could, like if I think that it's a little too much, I'll do like -5, let's say, like that really does look better. And then let's show original by holding it. You can hold it. Yeah. Like if I'm being super duper picky, yes, for sure. If I want to just reduce those exposures a touch, I think I'm pretty happy with that. So that's the level of power you do have in an AutoHDR. If you feel like something is just slightly off, yes, you can fix it. Wall colors look really good. I think that there's barely a difference, but just a little bit more green and a little bit more saturation in the version 4. Brighter again in the corners, even going all the way into the family room there, definitely better. Window pulls are better in version 4 again too. Like you can literally see like super easily out that window there. And then let's see versus this one. I don't know. Okay, there we go. That's good enough. Version 4 knocks it out of the park. That is like insanely way better. Whereas like there's even like thinner blinds too and stuff. Whereas here it's like thicker, overexposed. That's actually insane. I'm very impressed with that. It looks like there's even more sharpening too. And those window pulls are, especially if the window pull is nice, like what's outside the window. Maybe in some cases, we've had clients be like, can you not show the window pull or not show what's out the window in this angle? And I think that I would agree with them if you see power lines or your neighbor or this and that in some cases. But majority of the time, someone that's going to go see a home anyways, it doesn't really matter. So it's like not much that you can hide, but you can make it less obvious and you can mute a little bit of those details, obviously. Version 4 takes it 3 for 3. And then, you can see the TV here. If we wanted to replace the TV screen, and that probably is going to be with in the initial settings in the front, but I don't really care that much if it's not going to be that distracting. Many times people just want the TV off. And as long as the reflection is not distracting, it's not a big deal. So let's go to the 5th photo. Let's see. So, instantly, again, my eye goes to the version 4 on the left here. And the sky replacement is way better too. The sky replacement, because this was a dreary gray day, which just made the house even darker on the inside. The version 4 Lisa, you can very easily tell it's like it's too blue, and like there's trees here and it's like white, and they obviously didn't bother, the program didn't bother trying to put in anything behind the trees because it's too thin, too small. So let's zoom in again on here. Okay, and that's gonna, I think, load to be a little bit better. So here we go. Look at that difference. Again, more sharp. The blinds look better. The exteriors look better. Hey, there's my car. Quick little funny little thing. I used to all the time sneak in my car here and there. Not so much anymore. I could barely bother, but there was a time that I would always try and sneak in my car and like out a window or something. Little Easter egg. So like the coloring looks better here. Yes, a little bit more saturated. So Let's try again. So if I don't love the saturation, let's say I don't see, oh, here we go. It's because I have it like a split screen, so it probably looks way different if it's not split screen, and this is built into Chrome. So for sure, like the biggest things that are going to be adjustments are either exposure or saturation or vibrancy. I think like those are going to be the giveaways. So vibrance, like, yeah, maybe a little bit too vibrant. Let's bring that down to like negative 15 points on here, okay? And let's show the original. A little bit better. Let's try even more, like 20, let's try 30. See what that does. Because I do like how it's a little bit more neutral. I think it's the saturation that's killing it. I really do think it's the saturation that's killing it. So let's try like a lot as well. Negative 25. Okay, maybe a little too much. Let's bring that down to 15. A little bit better. So now it's not bad. Maybe we need to bring vibrancy up because bringing down both is a little too much. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. The original, in my opinion, is just a little bit too saturated from version 4, but I love the window pulls, and so you can actually make that adjustment across all photos that you generate going forward. If I feel like, hey, like just a touch too much saturation. It could be that there's lots of wood, very possible, and that's something that the program can learn over time as well too, though, potentially. So that's just, in my eye, it's a little too saturated, but then reducing it by 10 points, and so that looks a lot better already. And you can go like really deep into like even reducing reds and things like that. And I think that's actually kind of cool. So if we reduce the reds quite a bit, yeah, that's pretty wild. It does a pretty good job. I just feel like it's a little too red. And now it looks a little bit more similar to this. And then even based on that, like easily, now the winner without a doubt, in my opinion, is going to be version 4. Just because it's not as saturated. So again, version 4 takes the cake. Okay, this one's pretty interesting. Again, brighter. Feels like this one feels like it has more contrast here, but more contrast in general in version 4, which is odd. Trying to find differences here. Like you can even see in like the stone and like the faux stone. Definitely like what version 4 has done. Again, sharper, just better colors in general. Even if you look at this picture here on the wall, sharper and just looks better. Noise levels on the TV maybe look a little bit worse on the Lisa model too, but it's not really that much of a difference. Like definitely the exposure on this is worse. So this is a pretty good one too. You can easily tell, once again, more saturation on the wood. Seems to be a recurring pattern and theme here. You can see it on the fans. You can see it on the top trim of the cabinetry, and even in here, if we'll zoom in on that, and we'll zoom in on this, even on the handles, like the brass handles, definitely just looks worse in the Lisa model, and it just looks better in the new one. And again, the window views are way better than the Lisa one. So again, the winner goes to version 4 in my opinion. But let's go to our final photo now. So let's take a look. Yeah. And if I had to choose, I kind of like the older Lisa one. So it seems like out of 8 photos, 6 went to version 4 and 2 went to the older Lisa one. But if the issue is just more saturation, and because this listing has lots of wood, those things can be solvable again with basic adjustments going in. Which one's better to send right away? It might be, again, the Lisa one, but majority of those other photos were ready to be sent and were better as the version 4 though. So for instance, saturation, I almost feel like a lot of saturation needs to come down. It's just too much. Like you can just see like this just, yeah, it's almost like blooming with saturation. It's just too much. And then all this red, I wonder if, yeah, that can actually help a bit too. So reducing the reds in there makes it a little bit better, right? And then though, if you look at some of the other things that are more difficult to fix, which in my opinion would be the window pull, looks like there's half a sky here and no sky here. So it kind of put in an imaginary tree in the version 4 potentially. But to be honest, this is, I don't even know what was outside here. This could have been a brick wall or a tree, and it replaced it as a sky. So this actually could be more accurate potentially. So in that case, we'd have to make sure what it looks like, because the onus is on us, of course, to make sure that we're not putting things that are not prompted correctly. But in my opinion, I think that's fine, just to mask it out as a green layer, because you could technically put a bush there, I'm sure. And if you can't, you could put something like a window screen, if that's not like the true view. But seeing the sky, I think, would be more problematic if there is no sky view. So version 4 wins in that respect, and desaturating it definitely helped a lot. So the ones where version 4 won are majority of the photos, but the ones where it lost, in my opinion, was the front door and that basement view. But again, like if you look at this, yeah, like I feel like the classic won big time, and it's in beta, so it just came out. So let's see here. Like maybe if we reduce some of the whites, maybe no, we should probably not touch those. But I think like maybe the highlights, make it a little bit more creamier. It's the white and like the flash look that's getting me, to be honest. So there might be some tweaking that's needed there. But yeah, the ones where the old Lisa model won, in my opinion, this is all opinions, was the first photo and then also that last photo. Yeah, I think that the Lisa definitely won in those, but then looking at all the other ones, they definitely won for sure. Let's go back to listings here. Yeah, the version 4 just did such a great job on majority of those ones. Version 4, definitely a huge upgrade for majority of these photos. This was a very tricky listing to compare, but if I had to choose, I would choose version 4 for sure. It definitely did some standout features that it did really well on was the window views, and just at a very quick glance, which is true, most people are just swiping through these photos really quickly, buyer behavior. The version 4 tends to come out on top with its slightly brighter look, deeper window pulls. It just seems like less shadows. It's definitely the one that stands out as the superior model, and I'm really excited for them to just fix a couple of those tweaks as they come and as they go. And it's very lots of feedback that users are giving right now. It literally just launched like 12 hours ago, like 11 p.m. last night. So it's 1 p.m. now, and it's only going to get better and better. So there's AutoHDR. And if you guys are interested in trying this out for free too, you can follow the link on my profile, and you can get some free credits to try it out for yourself. All right. So if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.